Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Email me directly for pricing, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. This watch has been around since at least 2014. It represents one of the rarest and most sought variants of the FP Journe Tourbillon Souverain. It is my personal favorite FP Journe Tourbillon timepiece, and you can see why. The exquisite Jade dial, which is made in low volume at FP Journe, and reportedly Francois Paul doesn't like to promote this watch because making it slows down production of all watches, and that is down to the dial fabrication. So the watch is platinum and 40 millimeters. It's the Tourbillon Souverain as it debuted back in 2004. It was decorated at the GPHG. The watch is a derivative of his original 1999 Tourbillon remontoir, which was the foundational model for the brand as a whole. So in the House of Journe, the Tourbillon is king. At 40 millimeters in platinum, it's 10 millimeters thick. It's got a lug-to-lug dimension of 48.2 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. You throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist and you can see it wears quite nicely. The Tourbillon Souverain became a much larger and thicker watch in 2019, and this model, which was made as the Tourbillon Souverain, not just the Jade dial, but all Tourbillon Souverain, from 2004 through 2018, is much more compact. It's a unisex option, and it should fit on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. It's also low enough with a domed bezel that it'll slide underneath a dress cuff. Here's your down the barrel look. You can see it's nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Taking a quick look at the strap, you will note the strap is an FP Journe factory strap. It is in dark blue, almost navy, a little bit lighter, slightly lighter than navy. Large rectangular scale alligator leather, matte finish, monotone stitches. It has a folded edge, and on the underside you can see small round scale alligator. The purpose of gator on both sides is to make the strap longer lasting and more durable. A bit more expensive, but worth it on a watch like this. Now taking a quick look, you can see pull tab spring bars are used, so you can easily remove the strap from the case using only a fingernail. Taking a quick look at the buckle, it's a simple platinum pin buckle, appropriate on a dress watch, and Journe uses curved spring bars so that the lugs can be drilled close to the case, meaning the pivot centers of the strap are close together, closer than the edge of the lug, making for better fit on a small wrist. And with the curved spring bar, there's no impediment to the motion of the strap against the side of the case. The case, the bezel, everything's of high polish. It's all platinum. And you can see the mid-case features integrated blended lugs that turn down almost 90 degrees from the case band, making for good fit. The mid-case is defined by the overlapping lip of the case back in the bezel. And then we have Journe's signature double dimple knurled crown. The dial of Jade. In person, it's beautifully subtle. It has a light turquoise coloration with a very faint marbling to it. It is beautiful, it is rare, and it is special. And because Journe believes in balance and no detail overlooked, you can see that the printing on the dial is off-white rather than white to make for a gentler, warmer contrast with the dial base. Now, the watch includes a center bezel that frames the seconds, the hours, the minutes, and the tourbillon. That's made of steel and black polished, and you can see there are bezel bolts on the dial, as well as bolts fixing the bezel for the time to the dial. And this is a distinctive trait of every FP Journe watch since the first in 1999. In fact, it was on his first prototype wristwatch as far back as 1991. Taking a look at the power reserve indicator, you can see as I wind the watch, the power reserve progresses towards zero because it's inspired by marine chronometers, which would indicate zero when fully wound because you need to wind them 24 hours apart. It was more important to know how many hours since the last full winding than how long it would run absolutely. Now you see there's a deadbeat seconds complication, and then there is a tourbillon. It is a 1-minute tourbillon. You can use it as a second subdial if you want. It has a filigree style wire tourbillon cage. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. It is adjusted in 6 positions. It is free sprung, and it has an overcoil hairspring for concentric breathing in any physical position. All of these features are refinements that allow the watch to be a better timekeeper. But the single most important element of this watch's chronometer qualities is this. a linear titanium spring. It's a remontoir d'égalité. It was a world premiere when FP Journe in 1991 combined on his prototype wristwatch the remontoir with the tourbillon. So you have the barrel with its 42 hours of power reserve, but for about 28 hours, the remontoir will parcel out 1-second bursts of energy to the escapement. That runs the deadbeat seconds display, but more importantly, it ensures that the tourbillon receives a new charge and an equal charge of energy every second. So for the first 28 hours of power reserve, the tourbillon, thanks to constant force from the remontoir, is able to maintain constant amplitude, which allows this watch to be regulated very precisely. Now you can see it uses 18-karat rose gold bridges and plates. This was the major change to the watch in 2004. So it's a platinum watch with a solid 18-karat rose gold movement. It has a wonderfully satisfying heft to it. All of this pivots on 26 jewels, and you can see the caliber reference is 1403, so it's 14 French lean in diameter, and then 03 is the year engineering work planning on the movement actually started. The watch includes mirrored anglage on the edges of the bridges, satination on the wheels, including the crown wheel and the ratchet wheel, a lovely swan's neck click and click spring inspired by pocket watch making. We have black polished components for the remontoir d'égalité mechanism, and then satination on all the wheels with the screw heads black polished. All of this 30 meters water resistant, but please, 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 do not take it swimming. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.